Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to be going over the new S-Class character that will be gracing the game tomorrow. So Carrie Ann is going to be the Thursday promo in The Walking Dead Road to Survival. And as everyone kind of anticipated, a really good toon coming out just before WOC3. Now I know a lot of people probably assumed that the Trader was going to be the toon that everyone wanted, but this toon here, she is fantastic, in my opinion. A very strong melee defensive leader who provides that RNG at the beginning of a match that can't be resisted. And I think that's the big focus here. No matter what the enemy does, you cannot resist her leadership skill. Carrie Ann provides plus 40% defense to all melee teammates, so that's yellow and green toons, so fast and strong. But then at the beginning of each wave, all teammates get Elusive for one turn. Now, for those of you who don't know what Elusive is, it basically means there's no way that the opponent can gain AP off of your toons. So no natural way. So usually, if I attack an enemy, I will gain 20 AP base, and then depending on my leadership skill, I'll gain AP, as well as any AP gains on my weapon. This leadership skill really forces people to run an unnatural AP gain team. Now, I guess the plus side is, if you see her as a leader, you know that there's Elusive in play, so you know to bring in a toon like Dr. Stevens, for example, or Henyon, who can gain 60% AP on the first turn. You just have a lot of options with this. I am not really shocked at finding a toon like this, but at the same time I am, because there's no way that you can get around Elusive on that first turn. One specific weapon that I can see people running against a team that has Carrie Ann is the ransack ability on melee toons, so on strong toons, because you could technically steal the Elusive from the enemy, which would create a window on the enemy's team, meaning you would be able to gain AP in a natural way. Now, most people don't have a ransack weapon, but this would be an effective method for people who do. You would be able to gain a nice advantage because your toon would not be giving away AP either when you attack or when you're taking damage. So I think it would be a very effective weapon to run. Of course, the people who run, toons like Mateo with Wangfa or Trader and Wangfa, they won't be affected because they're not using rushes as much to control the enemy. All they're really doing is using their active skills and then controlling from that point on. The players that will be struggling to attack a team with Carrie Ann as the leader will of course be free-to-play and light spenders, because most free-to-play and light spenders probably don't have the Wangfa combination with an infection toon, or they don't rely on those active skills at the very beginning, but they do rely on normal AP gain. Now, everyone should have a 6-star Dr. Stevens, so they will have the ability to use him on the first turn, and that will definitely provide you a nice buff. But I feel like this toon could cause a wrench for quite a few players who are more unfamiliar with some of the game mechanics. The more I think about it, the less concerned I become. And as I'm making this video, I'm realizing, well, because you're not dazed to start, there are so many ways you can control the enemy, even by me bringing in, say, 6-star Cole again, because he's able to taunt the enemy, but he also provides minus 50% defense to the enemy. I know a lot of people are running attack up one taunted or taunt resist. I guess the main issue would be if a defensive team is a fast rushing defensive team and you're trying for a turn 1 attack team that is based off of commanding a toon other than Dr. Stevens, because you can get a turn 1 Priya or Princess team without having a 20% AP weapon to self if you're focusing on using Dr. Stevens, attacking with your toon, then commanding that toon because they have enough AP to rush. Like when I think of a team that someone might run, I'm thinking Carrie Ann lead, maybe Trader behind, because in S-Class they have enough defense and HP that they don't really have to worry too much about being like one shot, for example, on the first turn. Again, we would probably see a Wangfa on the defensive team, maybe a Rosita, a Bide Rosita, and I'm not sure, maybe a Frost as the other option, but I personally don't like the combination of a Human Shield and Trader on defense, because it basically means the enemy won't be attacking Trader, even if he rushes and taunts enemies into him. so it means that he's less likely to infect toons. Anyway, enough of my theory ideas. Going back to Carrie Ann's rush. Feisty Spirit, 66 AP, which is fast and pretty normal at the moment with S-Class toons. Up to 3 enemies get stunned for 1 turn. All other teammates get 50% attack for 1 turn and get plus 50% bonus HP. Now, I'm thinking that even though her leadership skill is defense for all melee teams and toons, you could run this on attack as well with this specific kit. You could probably rush her on the first turn, so not only is your team elusive, but now you've potentially stunned 3 enemies and you've given a huge attack buff that kind of makes up for the fact that she doesn't have a leadership skill that aids an attacking team. This toon really eliminates the need of using Raven on attack, because instead of hoping that you can use Raven's active skill on the first turn, instead the leadership skill is automatically applied. So not only are you able to prevent the enemy from potentially turn 1 rushing you, because most often on defensive teams they need to attack and then be command rushed, so she kind of stops that turn 1 attack. Her rush could be done on the first turn or on the second turn depending on your team. And really, because she's a rainbow leader toon, meaning her leadership skill kind of affects everyone, at least the elusive ability, it means she's very dynamic and she's adaptable to a lot of situations. Even though we're missing like a true attack leadership skill, you can supplement any team's attack with team player weapons that give plus 15% attack and plus 35 crit chance, because those can stack as they apply kind of like a leadership skill, and they also apply to the toon holding it. With Carrie Ann's case, if she's the leader, a team player weapon makes the most sense because all toons would be adjacent to her. You could end up running something like Carrie Ann, Alpha, Dr. Stevens, a commander, and say Davy. You could also do something like Carrie Ann, Alpha, Dr. Stevens, a command toon, and Princess. There are really just a lot of different applications that you could use this for, and I kind of like how you could use her as both an offensive or a defensive lead, and that there are so many options to kind of manipulate her to fit either type of team. Her leadership skill alone for a defensive team isn't as wowing to me as it would be on an offensive team, because you could end up running a double rampage attack team with Carrie Ann as the lead, and you'd never give any AP away, even if you're going up against angel leads. You would actually have so much control just with that elusive for that first turn, because if you did Carrie Ann, double Priyas with double attack and rampage, add in a command toon or 2, even a human shield if you want to make sure that like a traitor on defense only infects your human shield over and over again. But by not giving away AP on that first turn, you're ensuring that you're not really triggering any type of defensive team. So using her as a leader just gives you a lot of flexibility. And if you do have to rush her, well, you're stunning up to 3 enemies and you're giving yourself an attack buff. And what I like about attack buffs right now is that with a toon like the Traitor on defense teams and Resilient preventing you from applying statuses to the enemy, you can still apply buffs to yourself. Next, when we move on to our active skill, we see Camouflage and Focus. Now, it looks to be a really good skill because, as we know with the update to Camouflage, it really prevents the enemy from being able to use area damage rushes, so any type of splash damage is now limited. Only the primary target gets affected. So things like payback would be mitigated if your whole team has Camouflage and you attack rush, say Negan. Only the toon who attacked rushed will get the payback damage because everyone else is camouflaged. We think of conventional methods like splash weapons, then Dylan's weapon, rampage weapons, collateral 2 and collateral 1 damage toons. Rushes like Princess, for example, her rush will only hit the 1 target. Davy, who can hit 1 target and all enemies adjacent, it'll only be the individual target. What's important to note is that Camouflage stops physical damage, but it doesn't affect status effects. So say if I rush my Diego on the center toon, all other toons will still get the defense down and impair, but they won't receive any damage, which in my opinion is actually an advantage, because it means you're also not giving them AP, because if they have a, recover impair ability off of Yellow Maggie, or if they have an impair resist mod, in some ways you can actually leverage Camouflage to your own benefit, because you're not going to be giving the enemy any AP. It's almost like if you're running camouflage on your team, you shouldn't really have AP when taking damage, because in some cases you might not be taking any damage. So instead you're losing at the chance of gaining AP. Now don't get me wrong, I still do like her active skill. The focus is very useful. I just think that her active skill is too slow. If it was a turn 2 active skill, I would see her as being a lot more useful, because on turn 2, you would be able to focus your team like Ivanova does or like Aaron does, and that lets you attack behind human shields. It also helps you ignore the effects of taunt and confuse, or you can also use attack up when taunted, and that way you can rush on the third turn and have a huge attack bonus. So in total, I would definitely say Carrie Ann is a very good toon, and she can be used on offense as well as defense. I myself would probably use her as an offensive leader, because she's technically not an RNG leader, because she will always give your teammates, including herself, elusive for 1 turn to start. RNG is when there's a high chance of it happening, of creating chaos, but this is not randomness. This is 100% going to happen if she's used as a leader. So even though she's not as flashy as a toon like Trader, I think she is an awesome toon to have. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video. I hope you guys found this to be very informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content and information.